Hi, YouTube. How are you? I'm doing okay. I had a pretty nice day. My pump's probably going to be coming on. I'm doing a load of dishes in the dishwasher, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, I don't really like that saying. Sorry. I'm going to try and not say that. Everybody is. It's like, yeah, anyway, I guess, anyway. There, I almost did it again. I was thinking about today people and the ones that actually think they are God, you know. It's like they've never created anything in their life on their own without God's material of any sort, of his energy or anything. Even their thoughts that are transmitted through their brain, their soul isn't capable of doing none of that. It's like the difference of will and will not. And that's kind of what's going on in the world today. I was thinking about that, how it used to be more like the haves and haves not that would cause wars among people. Nowadays, it's coming down to will or will not. And then that brings to mind, if people, yes, they have free will, but does that mean that they can will their life before them? You know, those of us that have faith in God, we do God's will, or at least we try to 100%. Um, but yeah, it's a struggle for a lot of people because they're not only narcissists, they're downright psychopathic, you know, and that's a big deal that today, with it being 222 2022, you know, they think they're opening portals, and the witches and warlocks are trying to use their free will to summon and to conjure and create. It's like you can't create shit. You have no will. Only thing you got is something that God gave to Satan for a time, and his time's up. So, what do you think you're going to do? Nothing. We are getting closer to God's oneness as far as what people call the universe or the earth, traveling deeper into the Milky Way, and what looks different to us and what the so called leaders of this world are trying to keep from people, the magnetic energy. There's nothing they can do about it. Um, some people call it wormwood or Nibiru or even meteors or the rod of God made out of tungsten steel that they can drop, and it's just like a bomb going off, only there's no radioactive or nuclear waste from it, only the destruction that it can cause. Um, the things that they're going to make to appear like supernatural that they're bringing into play as part of scriptures or belief systems around the world, and even the plagues and all of it. Every single bit of it is nothing but a big old act. And ultimately, their free will had put them in a position where if they think they're queen now, they'll literally be scrubbing your toilet tomorrow in a manner of speaking. And it's not just play acting on that. God gave the fallen, so much time to get their poop in a group. Well, they got it in a group, all right, but they didn't start cleaning it, you know. So they just kept their poop in a group and intermingled in their marriages and their thoughts and things that normal people are forbidden to do. You know in your heart that you probably shouldn't light a candle and conjure the demon of darkness to do your bidding. That's really not a hard thing to figure out. That's probably not a good idea, you know, because they don't want to do God's will. If they did, their minds would be in tune with his, and and that spirit would be in them through all of us, and they would feel us and they would care, but they don't care. That's, kind of, I was going to talk about things that kind of went on in my childhood, and that's not really a deep, dark, depressive thing for me. It was devastating when I was going through it, but and to try and portray that to people for your understanding of what really is going on, them trying to keep the dark force on play on this planet forever instead of God's people having what is rightly theirs, that they know how to govern and take care of. There's some people that kick their dogs, there's other people that feed other people's dogs, you know, in a manner of speaking. There's some people that take away from your energy when you're watching them. There's some people that give, we're like, here, take some. We love you, There's others like, I'm taking some. I love me, you know, and that's not my style. That's what I'm really trying to prevent. And I've been thinking an awful lot about the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia that used to actually be what they're trying to invade a part of Russia. And there's some people holding up the Russian flag because that's who they are. It's like if people were telling me there was a civil war between my brothers and sisters in Canada, right across the road, metaphorically speaking, it's like, and my blood, probably, you know? It's like, no, I'm not doing it. Can you imagine how these people, just because the players on the chessboard say this is what they want, does not mean that's what the people want. And I really am asking if there's any military watching me at all, just start talking to people on a person level. Use the name tags, you know, um, address people as human beings. Don't make a statement like a lot of these people, and no offense because I know it's a thing, but when you're addressing somebody, you meet them, you introduce yourself. So like when you're writing a letter, you're introducing yourself. It's from you to me. You don't need to put my name in the middle or at the end. I already know who you're talking to, and so do you. So, do you see what I mean? It'd be like, okay, I'm going to use my son John because I'm a little irked with him all the time. So, um, sorry, John, if you're watching this. I love you, but it is what it is. So, anyway, so I'll just say, hi, John, how you doing? Hey, Mom, what's up, And then I'm like, well, John, this, that, and the next thing. And then, and then, okay, then John. Did I use John enough in there? Like he didn't know who I was talking to. Do you see what people do this all the time? It's a narcissistic tactic. It's weird. It's unnecessary, and it's energy thieving, and it's psychopathic. It's psychotic. Or it's like if I were talking about me, I'll do it as a joke. Well, Barb, and the light was pretty bright. Isn't that right, Barb? Um, that is psychotic. Talking in the third person to yourself and about yourself. A lot of presidential candidates and governors and different people in those type of positions, or people that believe they're in some type of position, will do that occasionally by way of showing more power. It's a power trip on with words. So words are really important, and the spells that are being cast today and the things that our people are saying and doing to each other, it's all going to catch up to them. What they don't know is the magnetic pull that we're having on our hearts out of love. They're having the same pull, but they're ignoring it. They're sedating it. And even though Satan himself has backed out of the picture, there's so many generations of that bloodline that are keeping that feeling and that dark force going out of allegiance to him. And that it's like a big joke to him. He does not care. And these people, and see, basically what he's saying to them is it's okay if you scrub Barb's toilet in the future because you think you're in a position of control today. And so he's sitting back and he's laughing at the whole thing like he was the choir director in heaven. Well, he's still directing the choir. He's got quite an army. Speaking of armies, isn't it time the mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters of the world start telling our young men, we love you. We don't want you to learn how to kill another human being and jeopardize your soul by becoming PTSD or psychotically killing that lust for the kill within yourself. Isn't it time instead of saying pick up your arms like your forefathers did, that we start telling them lay down your arms? Isn't it time in this world that the whole world starts saying the same thing? You really like the fact there's no money in the Federal Reserve. Um, the feds are an absolutely independent entity ran by bankers, has nothing to do with the United States of America besides a contract that they print money, that they've already taken our gold to the tune of trillions and covered everything up with 9/11, and now this rest of the stuff that's going on and all the fake um, NASA stuff or whatever, all the fakery just to take Earth. You literally steal from the public in under the guise of doing something for your money. No, they took your money. It's gone. All the gold in the Federal Reserve has not been there forever. And guess what? They don't care. Now they want to go electronically. My suggestion to anybody listening to me is if you have money in the bank, take it out, because there's a lot of us that will still work on the money system along with the barter system. And if they make that illegal, we won't make our own coins out of tangible metals. And that's a fact. There's a lot of us that know what's up in that respect. And we're prepared for a world like that because we felt it coming for a real long time. So, what I'm trying to say is all these cities that they've built underground to go hide in, and everything they're trying to do, all their trickery until the very last moment, and the food storages that are going underground to those people, there is no shortages. They're forcing the truckers into these convoys because it's part of the game. That's all there is to it. An attack and an assault directly upon the people. And there's no other way to mince words with that. They wreck the economy. They have a war, and people put their money towards the war, and it generates more money back into the economy. It lifts again, and people are sitting here so oblivious to what's going on, you know? Then they want to turn everything digital and make it, you're supposed to agree and make it easier for them to control you and your children. No, absolutely not. Not happening anymore on this planet. This is the beginning of the end. Their free will is up. And that's a fact. This is the time. I know it in my soul, and so does everybody else. That's the Great Awakening. You'll see it. You can feel it. They can feel it. We all know it's a fact. So I'll come back with some more gory stories about my childhood, but you know, and I've got plenty of videos talking about maybe not so much ceremonies or different things, but just some weird things that went on. My whole life being gang stalked by my adversaries, you know. So it's kind of a disadvantage though when you start out as a tiny one and you can't really help yourself. And then going through natural or unnatural childhood and learning the ways of your enemy by way of what they did to you. It's like a fighter. Did you know, if you think about it, if you've ever been like slapped and then you're in a fight, one of your instincts is going to be to slap because that's something you've learned from somebody else. So, if you've had your butt kicked a lot, you know everything that was done to you. Think a old soul that's been beat on and murdered and all kinds of things forever. Could you imagine what a warrior like Christ would be coming back like I am directly God? And you know, if you're of God, you can feel that feeling. And if I have to let loose what you taught me, plus I have a great imagination because I made you, then I would be like pretty dangerous to mess with. That's what the will of God is inside people. The true will of God will guide you like that. Whatever you say, whatever you do, you get on here to make a video, you never have to worry about what you're going to say. I mean, if you're having like a headache or, you know, if you're cold or those types of things, it can make a difference in your life. But, you know, tired, that'll make a difference. Hungry or not prayed up. And yeah, there's a difference between meditation and prayer. To me, prayer is talking to my Father constantly without a second. He doesn't need a second. He doesn't want to be separated from his own, you know, so he doesn't need time to, like humans do. Shh, just a minute, mom's busy, you know. Oh, that's talking in the third person. No, it wasn't, I guess. I was talking to my kid. That's right. Durr. So, anyway, just being funny. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is God doesn't need that second like a human being does, and He hears us all at once. And they think they have a supercomputer that could do something that's equivalent to that feeling. And God is everything. And so for them, even the computer, if they, you know, if they really understood that every drop of material and information, even conglomerated, is nothing near, not close to what is everything, has been, and will be all at once. His knowing is, we come not even close to that. And most people don't even want to learn their ABCs. to begin with, you know. And you think you stop learning. It's like, oh, I've had enough. No, you never stop learning. I did that when I was little. But then I thought, no, I'm going to get smarter than everybody. Because, see, I was raised around people that tried to control my mind. And I am so stubborn that I knew I had to learn how to do that to them and do it better. Well, I got pretty good at it. And then I got sick of doing it. It's like, yeah, okay, so you can make a puppet out of somebody. So what, right? And if they act like your puppet because they love you, yeah, pretty cool. That's what I am for God. I'm like his puppet or puppet or pulpit. Pop. Hey, he's my pops, you know. So, our pops. Anyway, what were them candies that would pop in your mouth? My kids like them things. Oh, you'll probably know what they are. Back in my day, we had you probably know what Twix are, them or not Twix, Twizzlers. No, that's that licorice. I think it was something TIX or they were nothing but flavored and dyed sugar, and they were in these paper things, and you could rip the top off, and well, or plastic lips or mustaches or wax it was, and they were flavored and you could chew on them. Boy, that was really some bad stuff for kids. Candy cigarettes. Oh, cigarette. Yeah, I have a cigarette with you. Wow. Oh, we got a little bit of snow. Um, Enough where the kitties really didn't want to come out of their house today, which I don't blame them till I made some tracks. And when I went in there, there was one I called Big Butt, and I named his son BB after him. And BB's got a lot of white, but Big Butt's mostly black with white socks. And last year, um, oh, at the beginning of winter, he hurt his back foot, somehow smashed it, and it was just dangling there. Kind of like his sister's front one, only not as bad. But it was bad. I thought he was dead this whole time. It's been about 9 months or so. And I went in there today, and the usual suspects were in there. Puma always hides. She's a real scaredy black cat. And Heart Baby came up, and BB was hanging around, and Yeti was there, and there was Big Butt. And he's huge, and he's long haired, black with white socks and a white tuxedo. He's beautiful, beautiful guy. He looked at me all scared, and I said, "You can stay here." And he kind of thought about it, and then he ran under the box truck. I've got a hole in a tarp where they can go under there, and it's all surrounded, so it's like a play area during the day or whatever, you know. And I thought if he did come back, he used to hang around in there. Well, he was in the nice kitty house with carpetings and stuff today, and he looked around like, looked at me like, this is pretty nice. And I told him, you come back and eat now. I gave him some food and water and made some tracks. The first thing, Yeti follows me out the door um, in my tracks so he could go potty. They all were waiting for me to come out there and make them a bath, you know. So, yeah, they're cute. They're good kitties. I love all animals actually, but people really can wreck a good animal, you know. I've seen it. I had a dog that never would have bit anybody, bite somebody, and then snap at another one. Mean men. My Irish setter, they're not known for being vicious at all, you know. They're one of the most obedient bird dogs on the planet, and that was one of the smartest dogs I ever had. But he literally bit somebody for hitting me. Another guy tried to tease him with some jerky, and he snapped at him. And then somebody tried to come in my house when I was sleeping, and Dandy grabbed his arm. It's like, good dog. And then I found out later from the FBI that the guy I was renting a room to had murdered his girlfriend and moved up around the lakes. I had a lake home at the time, and can't remember how we all met. My ex and him and I don't know. I have no clue. Can't remember. But yeah, it was really creepy. So I was talking to the FBI after he left the area. I kicked him out, and he hung around outside for like a couple days, and it was creepy. So, yeah, wow. Anyway, yeah, that was a long time ago. I didn't even have kids then yet. So then I left my home and went back out to Montana and came back and remodeled it. And when I remodeled it, it burnt down. I had a beautiful garden, and I could look out my breakfast window and watch a blue herring, a stork, type bird, fishing in the morning, and she'd show me what she caught. She'd have like a frog, and she'd wobble it in her mouth and look right at me. It's like, wow, how cool. And hear the loons at night and all that. I miss it. I do. Honestly, I want another lake place. I'll find one. So, where I'm at is really pretty, and we got a lot of work into it, but it's like, yeah, our kids never really appreciated it and for what it was, and it's like the perfect homestead place for survival with running water and artesian wells and a pond, a creek, acreage, woods, meadows, gardens, you know, wildflowers that I put in, ones that were natural, but a lot we planted. And so, but yeah, they never took no interest in what it was and what it became. It's like, oh, okay, maybe somebody will appreciate it. That's what I told Doug. I'm not going to worry about any more about having my grandmother's 225-year-old Japanese um, uh, irises or tiger lilies that I propagated from her daughter or whatever. That, I mean, who cares about 500-year-old oak trees and 200-year-old flowers anyway? Well, I'll find somebody that does, is what I was thinking. It's like, yep, if people that say they love and care about me don't care about anything, you know, it's like, well, then I will find someone who does. So, yeah, there might be somebody even older than me that wants to move closer to the cities or for any reason, and they may have a cabin up by a big lake and we'll just trade. Or maybe a younger couple, and one guy actually is considering our place too because of the shop and the location. It is quite unique, like I say, in a valley with a meadow and hills for sliding with kids and every water and wood. And what do you need? There's a wood stove in the shop too, and a gas furnace, so you can do either or. You know, just need lines running to the new furnace, but or it's LP. But we're thinking of a different one for next year because doing the wood is really getting hard too. So it's not easy. I've actually cut my own wood chainsaw, splitting mauls, wedges, and an axe, hatchets. It's a lot of flipping work, you know. You know when you see somebody and there's not an ounce of fat on them, you know that I got hanging skin now, but you know for a fact that there was something going on in their youth, you know. But yeah, and I got sick. I gained some weight too, and I still trying to recover from that. Getting better all the time. Oh, speaking of that, last night, um, I took some aspirins and I had ate a lot. I usually don't even eat that much, but I just started early and wanted to go to bed early, and I did. I think I fell asleep the first time about 8:30. Then about 10:30 or so I watched a little bit of a show I'm watching, and then shut it off and went back to sleep and got up at 8:30. So I must have got at least 10 hours of sleep, I bet. And I needed it. I haven't been rested like I drove straight out last year. This time it was right after my cat had died on today a year ago that I decided to go meet my granddaughters and visit my son and his wife in Montana. And I didn't sleep. I drove straight out there over 1,000 miles. And on the way back a week later, I drove straight back with no sleep. And that was worse too because I did get lost up on an Indian reservation by the Canadian border for a while at night when I first left because I was kind of rather upset. So, um, that was not cool. And I had no phone service up there. It was a little unnerving. And God was with me the whole time. Um, can't say I didn't get any sleep on the way out there. I did get 3 hours about at a truck stop, my dog and I. And then on the way home, I didn't sleep at all. And oh, and I didn't leave until in April, but I came home the day after Doug's birthday, and he had got a ticket on his birthday trying to go get a hot water heater and went around an emergency vehicle, but he thought the cop had flagged him around. What a fiasco. But anyway. So yeah. Well, I think I'll leave it at that. I just really wanted to make a point that these clowns out there today think they're opening portholes and summoning their god. And there is only one, you know. And if they want to summon that bad part, that's what they're taking on for themselves. And just keep in mind if somebody's really playing games in your life and being cruel, our souls go on, and so can the physicality of their bodies scrubbing toilets for a living or somewhere in that realm. Whatever they thought it was funny to have somebody else do for them, that's probably what they'll be doing. You know, that type of thing. So I would say that's probably about how it is. Sounds fair. It's not a fair. It's circus for real, but they actually, like, I'm going to name this the Will's True Will and Will Not. So that's where that stands right now. Don't back down. Don't physically fight. I wouldn't suggest anybody picking up any kinds of arms unless you're in true personal danger. That's then you have that right to fight and protect yourself. You know, but to pick up arms is a ridiculous scenario for the flesh we live in and the souls we carry from God. We have to teach better, or people aren't going to be doing better. And people have to be of that one voice for everybody else. You have to stand strong and do your part. Just do it. Help me do it. People will help you do it. And sooner or later, the ones that won't are they're already the minority. There's way less of them. I think people are inherently good. You know, I heard some CIA agent made a video and she was talking about how people lie 10 times a day. That's bullshit. Maybe some do. And it's like, oh, these little white lies, like, um, the dog ate my homework or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe that. You know, if you tell maybe, I think God's people, if you've told like 10 major lies in your life and you learned your lesson from them, that's probably about where it goes, you know? So these other people, if they lie 10 times a day and that's the average Joe, then I guess this world's a lot sicker than I thought it was, you know? All right, I'm going to leave it on that note. I love y'all so much. I wish I could just really hug you, and I'm not a hugger. So, anyway, peace, because you know that's another way they can drain your energy.